Hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Combat Sports Report podcast with your host. I'm Alan. This is Simkai. This is episode number 11 of the Combat Sports Report podcast. Before we get into the recap of what happened this past weekend, we got a special shout out from Mr. Simkai over here. Simkai, what do you
Yes,
got?
we got to shout out our boy Alan Gittleman because my man here is going to be training at the new Teixeira MMA and fitness gym that's going to be opening
Cruise MMA. Cruise MMA.
Cruz MMA,
Yeah.
Plinio Cruz MMA, the trainer of Alex Pereira. And my boy
Yeah.
Alan, he's going to be reaching the next level and he's going to meet
Hopefully.
fucking killers.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Plinio Cruz posted on Instagram and on X that he's opening up a new gym in Midtown Manhattan. I saw that and he said, if you're interested in becoming a founding member, email me. So I saw that, emailed him immediately. I was like, yo, I'm a WKA kickboxing champion last year. I have one MMA fight under my belt. I got 15 years of striking experience. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Sign me the fuck up. I'm ready. And I got an email back today from that Plinio email that he posted, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, slide us your number. We'll give you a call. We'll talk out all the details." And needless to say, I am signed up for the next year, so it's
Let's
gonna be
go.
a lot of fun. I'm very excited.
Shout out my boy Alan Gittleman, bro.
Thank you very much, Simkai.
Okay, so before we get into the breakdown of last night's card, I just want to shout this out quickly. Another shout out, but so the PFL new tournament style is starting on Thursday. There's I believe 8 weight classes. And the first up on the marquee is the featherweights and welterweights. This is basically a better version of PFL because there's no annoying point system. There is just win or go home. So I'm not really sure about too many of the fights on there, but if you are an MMA fan, I would definitely recommend tuning in before some of the UFC action.
Sure, for sure. Who are some names that we should watch out for?
Jesus Pinedo, the former PFL champion, is fighting Adam Boric. That should be a good one.
Nice, very
Uh,
fun fight.
Main event, we got Andrei Koreshkov and Jason Jackson.
Ooh, that's a barn burner of a fight. Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of former champions, a lot of rising talent. So I would definitely tune into that. But Alan, so
Hmm.
let's get to last night
Yeah,
in
let's hop over to
in
UFC Mexico
Mexico.
City. A lot of
Alan,
fun on that card. That was a
yeah,
great card.
yeah.
It felt like a pay-per-view almost.
Yeah,
I was watching it with some friends, and my friends were like, "Yo, this feels like a pay-per-view." And
it did.
honestly, it had every element of a good pay-per-view. It had a nice war as the main event. It had a couple of finishes leading up to that. It had some prospects really like making a
Yeah,
name for themselves, aka Ateba Gautier. Dude,
I called it, bro.
dude, you called it. I kind of was on the wave. I was like, either he wins by knockout or Medina by decision. Uh-uh. Knockout City. That dude is for real. I've
Yeah,
seen people online talking about how he's the middleweight Francis Ngannou, and
yeah. I mean, they're both
honestly,
from Cameroon,
hmm
so
it's going to be interesting to see what his future looks like in the UFC. He's obviously very talented. Dude is 22. Dude is my age.
yeah, that's crazy.
Shredded, bro. I
He's
like
3 years
the
younger.
best genetics known to humanity.
Yeah, but no, that was really good. Shout out to Atiba. He actually reposted our clip of him.
He did. He did. Atiba's the boy. Atiba, we're rooting for you from now on. Let's go.
Yeah, Atiba, let's go, bro. I mean, besides that, though, I mean, Alan, that co-main event, Manuel Torres.
Manuel Torres cracked the chin of Drew Dober. He cracked it. 1-2 down the pipe. Drew Dober held onto his leg. I thought at first Drew Dober somehow was going to survive. But dude,
No,
I watched that back and I counted 15 unanswered shots to the face.
yeah,
Like that's serious damage. I think the stoppage was a little bit late, to be
yeah,
honest
me
with you.
too.
But it's like no shade to Dan Mergliata. That was a tough one to call because he was still on all fours. He was still actively
He
hugging the leg. He was just out. He was just
he was
unconscious and
out. He
couldn't
got
move.
back up after, and he thought the fight was still going on.
Yeah, he was like, "Why'd you stop the fight?" 15 unanswered strikes to the dome, bro. And his head was bouncing off of Manuel Torres' shin. That's also a factor. That is not good. I don't like this whole stigma of, oh, that dude has a chin. This dude has a chin. I don't like that. I don't like that for one
Yeah,
reason, because when you give that I don't even know, like, nomenclature, that if you give that title to somebody, oh, this guy has the best chin, right? They're going to feel some kind of pressure to show the world how good their chin is. I'd rather not find out how good their chins are. I'd rather they don't get hit. I'd rather they try not to get hit. And I'm sure Drew Dober was trying not to get hit, but fuck, man, like that whole thing of like, oh, this guy has a great chin is such a dangerous thing to put on a fighter because everybody wants to test that chin now.
yeah,
And it's not good for longevity. Drew Dober's 36 years old. Manuel Torres is 30. Listen, we called it on the pod. We said that the reach favors Torres, the youth favors Torres. Like, stats point to Torres, but Drew Dober's still very talented. He's still in great shape. He still looks like he has a lot of it, but that chin is buckling. I don't want him to,
yeah,
like, I hope he doesn't focus on this thing of like, oh, I have the best chin in the UFC. Like, no, don't focus on that. Focus on having the best striking in the UFC. Focus on having the most well-rounded game. Don't focus on the chin, please.
yeah.
Please.
Alan, also, some other knockouts that I thought were pretty, like the David Martinez one. That was a crazy one.
That was a nice one.
That was like really nice.
Dude, Martinez is such an interesting cat. I found out so much about him. Dude is a surgeon, first off, practicing surgeon. He is part of the only brother sister duo in the UFC,
That's crazy.
and he just made his debut. He's what, 10-1 now?
11-1. Or
11-1.
yeah. No,
No, I
no,
think
wait.
I think he's 10-1. I think
No,
he's
no,
10-1.
no, no. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about someone else. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
He's got a very bright future ahead of him. His striking
you,
is very, very,
you know who
very
I
clean.
also want to shout out though, because he's had,
Cool.
well, actually both of them. Now that I think about it, they actually fought against each other, but two flyweights that didn't really have a good start, but now like kicked it up. I mean, we saw Kevin Borjas piece up
Oh
Ronaldo
my God.
Rodriguez like that
Dude, we
entire
got to talk
fight.
about that fight. We got to
Yeah,
talk
that
about that
was
fight.
crazy. I mean, I'll shout this out quickly before we get into that, but Edgar Shirez, like with that submission over
And with the speech after too.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, let's get back to that though. Like
Okay,
Ronaldo,
let's get to Borjas first. Borjas
yeah, that's what
tuned
I was
up
gonna say.
Lazy Boy.
Yeah.
Dude, that
Borjas,
was crazy. I for sure thought Lazy Boy was gonna win to the point where we picked him as one of our locks. And
yeah, that was
Borjas went in there and said,
that blew up in our face.
yeah. He heard what we said and he was like, fuck out of here. I'm gonna show you who I am. And he
Yeah.
really popped off for Peru. That was impressive.
Yeah, Ronaldo, I mean, I will say Lazy Boy, I mean, he kind of I think he got the let the hype get to him a little bit. I think
Yeah.
he was trying to do all this crazy shit and it just wasn't like needed really. I mean, like he should have just
Yeah.
gone, yeah. He wasn't really focused, I think, as much as he should have been.
Yeah,
But
he was very focused on getting like a highlight reel knockout, which is why he kept doing the switch kicks. He kept doing the wheel kicks. But Borjas was beating him with the jab, with the lead hook. He was beating him with the bread and butter, the basics, the ABCs of fighting.
yeah.
And Lazy Boy was trying to do too much fancy shit. He was a little bit slower than Borjas. And I wouldn't say he got exposed. I'd just say his mentality, his game plan was a little bit off. It was like very egotistical in a sense, and it didn't allow for him to show his actual talents. Because bro, when he's on top of his game, he is another animal.
You know what I gotta say though, Alan, because this really, I mean, I knew he was gonna win the fight. But Jesus Christ, like I didn't expect. Okay, I'm talking about this bantamweight fight. Okay, I knew Raul Rosas was gonna win. I didn't think he was gonna win by decision, but literally, Vince Morales got him twice in the submission and literally was choking the life out of him. And he
That's a deep
survived.
Dars. Deep Dars. I don't know if it's a Dars or an Anaconda. It's very
But
hard to tell.
how did you survive twice, man? In my opinion, we just saw from Raul why he will make it to the top, in my opinion. Like he fought through that. It was a kind of a crazy display of grit.
All in round three, too.
Yeah. So,
Listen, I didn't question Raul's ability to get out of submissions like that because his grappling is
yeah.
amazing. What I will say is Vince Morales' submission game is no joke. That impressed the shit out of me. Even though he
Yeah.
lost, he's definitely proved that he belongs in the UFC. Full stop. He belongs here. And so that was an okay, he lost, but that was a very impressive performance from Vince Morales. That being said, I think this was the toughest win of Raul Rosas's career. I think it's very good for him because these types of fights really grow you as a fighter. I'm happy that it happened the way it happened for Raul Rosas's career. Um, he's obviously very talented.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any secret to say a 20-year-old in the UFC is very, very
You
talented.
know what I
He still has some work to do, but very impressive.
you know what I will say though, because you were kind of making a big deal about another fighter who was one of the people who got a win over Raul Rosas, but kind of came up on
D-Rod,
C-Rod kind of came up on the losing end of that fight.
yeah. I missed that fight. I didn't even get a chance to watch it,
Yeah, I
unfortunately.
mean Costa was kind of beating him up. I mean, C-Rod did land some takedowns, but he wasn't able to implement much control time.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, still, C-Rod has an impressive
Yeah,
resume, but
for sure.
got to go back to the drawing board a bit and
Yeah.
figure out what he wants to do next in that regard. But
Yeah, I think he's still getting used to featherweight, to be honest with you.
yeah,
I think I think he's still getting used to that, which is okay, which is fine. Like it takes some
okay.
time.
You know what I just
I,
wrote too?
what's up?
Because we called this, and I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of mad about this, but what the hell happened with Vince Pichel? Like I thought he won
Wait.
the fight.
Before we move on to that, I just have to really, really quickly give like some props to C-Rod. One of the sweeps he landed was one of the most beautiful sweeps I've ever seen in my life. He clinch against the wall. He throws a right knee to the body as Melky tries to defend by raising his knee. C-Rod rotates him over his leg, foot sweep right into side control. That shit was one of the nicest sweeps I've ever seen. And I'm so happy to see more and more MMA fighters introducing foot sweeps,
Yeah,
judo foot sweeps, Muay Thai sweeps into their games. I think it adds a whole nother dimension to the fight game. And honestly, those types of sweeps are my favorite takedowns ever. I like it. I prefer to see them over anything else. That's just me. Okay, let's get into
yeah,
Vince
dude.
Pichel.
I mean, we both had we both agreed that Vince was gonna win that fight. He was one of our picks. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be honest, that was kind of a robbery. I'm gonna be honest. I
really.
yeah, I thought he won. I thought Vince Pichel won that fight.
Versus Rafa Garcia,
Yes. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think they gave it to Rafa because Mexico.
Mexico City. What
Yeah.
rounds do you think Vince won?
I thought he won the first round,
Okay.
and I thought he got the third round. I think Rafa got the second round,
Which was the closest round, do you think?
third. But
Third was the closest.
I mean, what was your opinions on that fight?
To be honest with you, I missed that one also. I think that was right before
Yeah,
the C-Rod fight. But um I don't know, dude. You just said yourself, Vince Pichel won round one. Round two was likely Rafa, right? So it's 1-1 going into round three.
yeah, but
If
I
it's
think
ever 1-1, I don't know that it can be a robbery unless the last round is like super dominant. And it sounds like it was a close round.
it was kind of close, but Vince, I feel like definitely did enough to deserve the win.
Fair. I'm gonna have to go and watch that fight back. I'm interested to see what happened.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a very good card. I mean, I definitely want to touch
Yeah,
on that main event because
for sure.
Brandon Moreno, I mean,
Vintage Brandon Moreno.
Vintage,
He
right?
looked
Yeah.
so good in this fight.
Vintage. Like, holy crap. He put a beating on him for 5 rounds.
Every single time he comes out, he looks better and better. And honestly, I'm astonished that he can still get better at this stage in his career. He just looks like a world beater,
Yeah.
bro. I don't know what else to say. He looks
Two-time
like a
flyweight
number one
champ,
contender.
two-time flyweight champion. I mean, I'm gonna
Mhm.
be honest, he kind of said it in the post-fight interview, but I don't know for our folks who don't know, but we will be getting No Shea UFC at the UFC 320 pay-per-view. It's gonna be in Guadalajara, Mexico. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I kind of want to see him and Pantoja run it back. I mean, that was a very competitive fight the first time.
Mhm.
Both of them were beat up really crazy. And I think, I mean, this is my case. If we got 4 matches between Figueiredo and Moreno, why can't we get another Moreno and Pantoja one? Like, I think it's
I'll
perfect.
explain to you. I'll explain exactly why.
I mean,
You have a
okay,
man, you have
Cara
a
France
man,
first.
okay, you have Kai Kara France, but then you have a man waiting in the wings by the name of Manel Kape, who just beat Asu Almobayev, like Asu Almobayev owed him money. What I would do if I was one of the matchmakers, I would do a a number one contender fight between not Asu Almobayev, Manel Kape and Brandon Moreno.
Mm.
Brandon Moreno versus Manel Kape, I think would be a dynamic, dynamic
Now,
striking fight.
I have to disagree with you because
Mhm.
Royval should be fighting Cop.
Interesting. Why do you think that is?
Well, who beat Moreno?
Yeah,
Roy.
but wasn't that by a decision?
Yeah, but it wasn't close. Royval dominated him for the most part. And I think
How
and
long ago was
actually I don't
this?
know if you know this, but that fight was originally booked. Royval was supposed to fight Cop.
Yeah. How long
So
ago was the Royval um Moreno fight?
maybe like a year ago, honestly. I mean,
Is Royval still like is he injured or something? I feel like I haven't seen him fight in a
no, but
while.
he's the number one contender.
Okay, so Royval versus okay, so you have Kai Kara France, Royval, Manel Kape, and Moreno all waiting in the wings. Kai Kara France is fighting for the belt, which means Manel Kape, Royval, and Moreno. Your top three guys, correct?
Royval also beat Tatsuro Taira. Don't forget
That's
that.
true.
So maybe actually we do.
Okay, did Pantoja fight Royval already? He did, right?
Ooh, Alan, I just thought of the craziest thing.
What's up?
I think I have it. So we can do this. So Alexandre Pantoja, Kai Kara
Mhm.
France, because that was originally booked anyway. That's what the UFC wants. Then Brandon Moreno, Kai Asakura,
Interesting.
and then
Interesting.
Manel Kape and Brandon Royval for a number one contender.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all. Going back to the Moreno Usyk fight though, one thing I do want to mention is I just want to say I'm very impressed with Usyk.
Oh
Very
yeah, we
impressed.
got to give him his
Okay.
props.
Dude,
Yeah,
he might have lost. He went all 5 rounds with Moreno. He went all 5 rounds
yeah,
with Pantoja.
yeah.
He won 2 out of 5 rounds against Pantoja. There's an argument to be made that he won 2 rounds against Moreno. I saw some people online saying that they thought Usyk won rounds 2 and 3, and
Yeah.
that it was 2 and 2 going into round 5. Personally, I had it 4 rounds to 1 for Moreno. I thought the only round that Usyk won was round 2. Round 3 was close though, so it could have gone either way. If you go to decision against that level of guy in Moreno and Pantoja, you are right there. You are a
Yeah,
top
he's
five
right there.
flyweight. I don't care what anybody says. He should move up in rankings,
You know
I
what I
think.
you know what I would say? Because
What?
I think Amir Albazi is still ranked number 3. I want him and Urchak next because Urchak deserves a top 5 opponent.
I would either do Albazi versus Urseg or Asu Almabayev versus Urseg. One
Asuma
of those two.
Almabayev is ranked like farther though. I mean, I get that, but I would probably do
Well, what is Asu Almabayev ranked at? Is he's in the top 10, right?
he's I think he's like 11, dude.
Is he? After the Manel Kape fight? How?
Or maybe he's 8 or 9. I don't really
All right, let's
remember.
Google. Let's
But
give it a Goog. JMO, give it a Goog. Okay. Asul Mabayev ranking. Asul Mabayev is ranked number 9. Number 9 versus number 8.
I
Urseg
mean,
versus Asul Mabayev.
you said it yourself, Alan. He kind of deserves a bigger test than that.
Right? But he also lost 2 out of his last 3.
Oh, actually, three. He
He
lost three.
lost 3.
Lost three in a row because think about
Oh,
it.
that's right. He lost to Kai Kara France, no?
Yeah, by knockout.
Right. So he lost 3 out of his last 4. Let's
No,
say
maybe you're
he
right.
lost his last 3.
Maybe the Asuma Amabaya fight is a good one.
Yeah, he went against Moreno, had a very impressive performance, but he lost.
Yeah,
So as a result, you give him somebody that's right around his ranking. I think Asul Mabayev also just got finished by Manel Kopp. I think Asul Mabayev versus Steve Erceg kind of makes sense right now.
yeah, I like that too. I mean, yeah, the flyweight division. I mean, you know what we got to say,
Mhm.
Alan? Because
Well,
2 to 3 years ago, people were calling the flyweight division crap. They were calling for it to be cut. And you know what?
dude,
And you know
people
what? You know
they
what?
know
Fuck you, people. Fuck you, people. Fuck you, people.
facts. Yeah, but people needed to see that there was this level of talent, you know?
Yeah,
Dana was this close to cutting the
yeah,
flyweight division. He was thinking about putting the flyweight division on the same chopping block as the women's featherweight division.
yeah. That was bad.
I'm glad they didn't because there's a lot of fun fights there.
Yeah.
Another fight, okay, really quickly, I just want to bring up the Kelvin Gastelum Joe
Yeah.
Pyfer situation. So Joe Pyfer ended up pulling out of the fight the day of because he fell ill. I'm sure he was actually ill because there's no shot that he
Yeah,
got scared or
he
anything.
would not.
There's none of
No
that at the
way.
highest level in the UFC. I hope he's all right, and I hope they do
They
that
booked it.
fight or give Joe Pyfer maybe somebody above Kelvin Gastelum because I'm a Kelvin Gastelum fan, and I don't want to see Kelvin take that kind of damage. All right, Joe Pyfer is a very dangerous person
I think they should
in the
rebook
octagon.
it for the next pay-per-view. What is that, like 2 weeks? That's enough time.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I just I don't. Joe Pyfer is a up and coming monster, and Kelvin Gastelum is an established vet, long great career. I don't think Kelvin Gastelum gets anything from this fight. I really don't. I
I
think
mean,
Joe Pyfer is much more powerful, and I think he sleeps him.
yeah, I mean, you're definitely right about that. I think that
But I mean, we'll see.
we'll see it get rebooked. Also, before we shout out what's coming up for our next episode, which will be sometime this week, I do want to say, because I'm not going to stop bringing it up because it's getting closer, but we got a good pay-per-view upcoming.
Mhm.
We got Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopez. I cannot stop talking about this because it is a crazy fight for the vacant title.
Mhm.
Obviously, that co-main event, 5 rounds. I want to shout them out because I'm kind of sad about it, but Carlos Prates and Geoff Neal was unfortunately canceled. Best
Yeah, Jeff Neal
wishes, both of
is
them.
injured.
Yeah, best wishes. Hopefully that fight gets rebooked. But we,
UFC said they're not going to rebook that fight. They're going to give Prata somebody else in the coming weeks, so he
oh,
should get a fight. He
oh,
should be
perfect.
able to announce his new fight pretty soon.
Oh, wow. So we'll maybe have some new news for you in that regards, folks.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, hopefully Carlos Prates will be opening the card. Uh,
yeah.
I think we still have some good fights. There's Jean Silva, Bryce Mitchell. That's a banger.
I know you can't wait for that one. I
Oh
know you
no,
can't
but
wait
I
for that
can't wait
one.
for another one too. Patricio Pitbull, Yair Rodriguez. I mean that. Oh my God. Like
That's every hardcore fight fan's dream. Like that's
you
a
know what?
wet dream of a
You know what's
fight.
going to be interesting, by the way, Alan, and I just thought
What?
about it. If they do a press conference with all those people, we will have Patricio Pitbull and Michael Chandler in the same room.
That shit is gonna be fun. Oh my God, I
Oh my
can't
God,
wait.
bro. I just
I
thought about
can't wait.
that.
Listen, it's slightly different now that they're in two different
Oh
weight
yeah.
classes, but still gonna be tense, bro. Michael Chandler slept Patricio's brother, Patricky. Patricio slept Chandler. Like, yo,
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
but also you got to think about it like this. Patricio Pitbull will most probably move up at some point. I mean, the lightweight division is stacked. I think he's going to try to
That's true,
capture the
but
featherweight belt. I think,
Chandler also is probably going to retire at some point, not in the too distant future.
yeah, that also will happen. I mean, yeah, so we're gonna have to see, but that's gonna
Yeah,
be an exciting card coming up, like a
yeah.
exciting pay-per-view. All and then so on our next episode, we will be discussing another featherweight battle between
Hmm.
two stars. I mean, Josh Emmett with that brutal knockout of Bryce Mitchell, which I will never forget because it actually scared the shit out of me.
I
Uh,
think it scared everybody, bro.
yeah,
Nobody was even applauding. Everybody was just quiet, like, oh
yeah,
fuck, we just witnessed a murder.
yeah, and then he's fighting Lerone Murphy.
That's
So
gonna be a war, bro.
that's going to be a war.
What a war. Hold on. Before we hop off, I want to mention one more thing about this previous UFC Mexico City. Edgar Chairez gave one of the best performances on the card. He stung Vergara so hard. Vergara started doing the stanky leg. That shit was crazy. He had him on wobbly legs. He was patient. He waited. He followed him around the cage, dropped him again, took his back, rear naked choke, and then after that gave a very heartfelt, teary-eyed speech about his grandfather who recently passed away. So
Yeah.
RIP to Shiraz's grandfather. May he rest in peace.
Also,
I'm sure he's proud of his grandson for what he did because that
oh
shit was
yeah.
incredible, bro. Absolutely fucking incredible.
You know who I also have to shout out, Alan, and I almost
Ooh.
completely forgot about this because she did an amazing job, Lupi Godinez. I mean,
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to say it right now. I kind of want her to get a higher ranked opponent. I think she deserves it.
Agreed. I agree.
I think,
She's kind of like becoming the um, Cowboy Cerrone of female MMA. She's
yeah,
kind of like an Angela Hill type figure. Like she's fighting
yeah,
everybody,
yeah,
going to decisions a lot, but putting on like good performances
yeah. No, she's a mainstay in the division. I
for
hope we
sure.
see that soon, where she gets a bigger fight. But oh yes, there is. You know what? I'll say this now, but I do have one piece of UFC news
What's
that I
up?
did recently find out about. But we will be getting a killer main event between two women's flyweights, Erin Blanchfeld and Macy Barber.
Oh man, that's gonna be such a good fight.
That's going to be a great fight.
But there's another female fight that got announced not too long ago. Also, I don't know if you heard about this one. Miranda Maverick versus Thug Rose Namajunas.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Miranda Maverick versus Thug Rose.
Oh wow.
It's gonna be
That's
a good fight. It's gonna be a violent fight.
don't sleep on our on the women's divisions, folks.
Nah, don't sleep on him. Don't be like us. Don't talk shit about Sean O'Bannon versus
Shout out to Pooja
Puja Tomar.
Shauna Bannon. We were very, very wrong.
Yeah, sorry again. That's yeah. Well, way to shut us up. Fuck it. They
Yeah,
did
way
their
to shut
job
us up,
well.
honestly, girls. Way to shut us up. Keep,
Credit where credit is due.
yeah. Well,
All right,
Alan,
Simkai. Anything else you want to mention?
not really. I mean, that pretty much covers it.
Awesome. Awesome. This was the 11th episode of the Combat Sports Report podcast. We'll see you guys later on this week for our breakdown of the next UFC card. Who's the main event on that one?
We'll say it again for our folks here, but it's featherweight standouts Josh Emmett and Lerone Murphy.
We'll break that down for you all in the coming week. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the 11th episode of the Combat Sports Report Pod. Love you guys and see y'all later this week. Peace.